It is the night of February 21st, 2014. Viktor Yanukovych is personally supervising a team of workers that is packing away as many of his belongings as he can into vans. The process lasted 3 days. Then, the fugitive president gets into a helicopter and flies away. First he goes to Kharkiv, then Crimea, finally on his way to Rostov, Russia. Are you ready to go? Is everyone ready? And this is the entrance to the residence a day later. Mezhyhirya is full of people. Everyone wants to see the humble home of their legitimate leader. A humble little golf course. 140 hectares of land, man-made lakes, fountains, a swimming pool, a tennis court, a golf course, a zoo, greenhouses, farms. The buildings are full of expensive porcelain, gold-plated spoons, forks, expensive candlesticks, clocks, chandeliers, and, for some reason, a golden loaf of bread. There's even a church where everything is inlaid with gold and amber. On that day, all the misappropriated goods were returned to those who had paid for them in the first place, the Ukrainian people. Mezhyhirya is now a national park, and the palatial residence of the fugitive ex-president has become a museum of corruption. This vase costs about 2,000 euros. You can even tell by its looks. In this room, I won't even talk about the cues. We have a music box. There are only 20 of that kind in the world. This is number 16. I think Kyiv gave it to Yanukovych. It cost 460,000 euros. The caretaker of Mezhyhirya shows off the treasures of one of the most luxurious residences in Ukraine. Dennis was one of the first who entered the mansion 3 years ago. Back then, I had a feeling that it was a hotel. It was too sanitary here. It didn't seem like people actually lived here. But now birds are singing, people are walking here. Even the smell is different. Mezhyhirya is now guarded by about 200 people. The upkeep of the residence is paid for mainly thanks to the entrance ticket sales. Aside from its educational role, Ukrainian soldiers who fought in Donbass and IDPs from the occupied territories are undergoing rehabilitation here. The IDPs arrived here from Crimea and from Donbass during the early period of the conflict when more people were leaving the area. One more woman has joined us lately. Her house was destroyed by artillery shelling, and she had no place to go. The zoo on the site is also expanding. We have aviaries for different birds, ostriches, special enclosures for deer and donkeys. There's a separate place for antelopes. Their number is rapidly increasing here, so we had to build a new enclosure for the antelope. There are dozens of more animals here than there were before. Yanukovych kept about 2,000, but the best guess why he had that many isn't exactly wholesome. I think it was a kind of animal exhibit that could be let out and hunted. But that's just my own subjective opinion. It's difficult to understand why a person would ever keep so many different animals and birds. Nobody here, neither the ostriches nor anyone else, seems to miss the autocrat all that much. The zookeeper loves her animals, and they love her back. All the animals have been given names. They regularly get hugs and kisses, and Mike the donkey loves to sing. Other valuable items include a motorbike given to Yanukovych by the Patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church, and many well-restored vintage cars, including some military vehicles. This is the most valuable car in our collection. There are only 3 of them in the world. They were made in 2009 on Putin's request for the 2010 parade. The other 2 belong to Putin and Nursultan Nazarbayev, the president of Kazakhstan. It doesn't have an exact value, but it'd probably be over $1 million. Some were just seized from their lawful owners, like this Ford, for example. They say that this one belonged to someone from Odessa. Someone showed it to Yanukovych, then they just came and took the car. Nothing is seized from Mezhyhirya anymore. In fact, it's difficult enough to maintain what is already here. But those working tirelessly to run the estate are not the ones to complain. You know, it's like one of those stories like on the front lines. The conflict zone is a tough place, but they don't call it quits and they don't complain. Everyone does what they can. However hard it may be, when there's a will, there's a way.